I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. Hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 177. The nations of the UK while doing short impingement training, and if you participate in the short impingement training, that is at your own risk. But before we starting with the nations of the UK, or with short impingement training, we have three things. The first thing is that I never looked where Afghanistan is. So we're going to do it now. We had looked where Iraq is and where Kuwait is. And that is here there's Iraq. Iraq. And where is Where is Kuwait? Where down there? Now Afghanistan is there. There's Afghanistan. So here's Saudi Arabia, there's Iraq, there's Kuwait, there's Iran, and there's Afghanistan. Here's Pakistan and India. So where is Afghanistan? So Afghanistan is the first thing. And the second thing is that we had pretty clearly learned that the House of Lords is the nobility and the bishops and the great landowners, and the House of Commons the knights and the rich people from towns and cities who were voted in. Now that had we learned pretty fixed, but I said in the last episode something about, and also previously, the things we're learning are not always when they are written in the present, grammarly in the present. But they are not the present of this actual year. Now we heard about Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher studied chemistry and whatever it's called, legal or whatever her name is, and she was a lawyer. She trained as a chemist and a lawyer. And I don't know what a grocer is. She was the daughter of a grocer, and she was elected as a Conservative MP. And we had Clement Attlee. Clement Attlee, his father was a solicitor, and he became a barrister, and then he was a social worker. It doesn't sound as if he would be in the House of Lords. And also does it not sound as if he would be a great landowner, a great property owner, from a rich person from towns and cities, or a knight. He has never written about knighthood or damehood by Margaret Thatcher or Clement Attlee. So that means that is outdated. And we had something about the reforms of 1802 or something was it in 1832, which made it possible for more people to vote. So all that about the House of Commons, what we had, is out of date. In Act of 1802, it increased the number of people with the right to vote. They never really said the differentiate between the people who were allowed to vote and the people who were allowed to be elected. Maybe there is no differentiation. And then 1867 more, and then 1918 and 1928. So all what we had about House of Lords and House of Commons was 1,000 years old. We will keep an eye on it. That's the second thing. And the third thing, we have a pretty good way to remember John Lord Joubert, JLB. But I expressed it 2 or 3 times in a way that I said it was John Lord Joubert who developed during the 1920s the television, and the first successful test was in 1932. It was John Lord Joubert, and it reminded me of something. And now I know what. There's a poem by Charles Kingsley. Its title is Ballad of Earl Haldan's Daughter, and it starts with the line, "It was Earl Haldan's daughter. She looked across the sea, she looked across the water." And that reminded me of it. So it was using this first line of the poem. It was Earl Haldan's daughter. She looked across the sea, she looked across the water, as to initiate what I had to say about John Lord Joubert. It was John Lord Joubert who developed in the 1920s the television, and in 1932 made the first successful test from Glasgow to London. And I think this is a pretty good idea to remember something. I think we have a good way with JLB for John Lord Joubert. But the basic idea is that we are taking something which we want to learn and we're putting it somewhere in a quote which exists and which we know. I never heard, I think, of that learning method. I heard of learning numbers with a story. So, for example, 2 rabbits are going out wearing 4 backpacks and they're going for passing 3 trees and walking over 4 bridges and they encounter 4 foxes or something like that. And you can have a story and now you can remember the numbers. I never have seen that someone actually use that method, but I heard of that method, but I think I never heard of that method, of the idea which I had to put it into a quote. So into the quote of a poem, it was Earl Haldan's daughter, she looked across the sea, she looked across the water. It was John Logie-Baird. And I found the idea because I think with JLB we have something quite good. With Sir Bernard Lovell, Joddelbank, it's Bernard Lavelle, Jodrell Bank, yes, but it's when Joddelbank and there is the radio telescope in Cheshire. That's a bit complicated. And I found the idea, more for the sake of the idea, quite good to use the Shakespeare quote which we have here from Henry V. Once more upon the bridge. I still don't know what the bridge is, but how about that? And once more upon Sir Bernard Lovell, who built in Joddelbank in Cheshire the largest radio telescope which is still in use. And once more upon Sir Bernard Lovell. I think that goes into the year. And once more upon Sir Bernard Lovell, who built in Cheshire at Joddelbank the world's largest radio telescope which is still in use. Now I think this idea would be a bit personal, so I'm not sure if we can take universal quotes. But I found the idea pretty good. If there's a quote, maybe it can just be from football something, just what a commentator said, or just an interesting quote. Maybe it's even possible to put things in a rhyme or something like that. But just to take a quote, which sounds similar or has similar initiating letters or something like that, just to remember something. Now let's look if we have another one. To be or not to be, and I don't know if we can take that for anything. To be or not to be the Turing machine. Maybe it works for someone. All the world's a stage. Maybe with a rhyme, the darling buds of May. So I don't know, but I just found the idea pretty interesting and on behalf already. So we're going to take, just for the sake of the idea, just to think a bit about the idea, maybe to modify it, maybe to improve it, we're going to say, once more upon Sir Bernard Lovell, who built at Joddelbank in Cheshire, the world's biggest radio telescope, which is still in use. So, the nations of the UK. We had that. This is the cities of the UK, so no. The cities of the UK. In capital city? The cities of the UK, England. Now in England we got London, that is the one. And that is where? There's London. And then we have Birmingham, that is the 2. And it's not next to it, it's there. There's Birmingham. So we're having here London by the 1, London, and there Birmingham. And then we're having Liverpool by the 3 there. So London, Birmingham, Liverpool. London, Birmingham, Liverpool. And when we're having Leeds, that is 4. There, Leeds. London, Birmingham, Liverpool, and there's Leeds. And the 5 is Sheffield. There's the Sheffield. So London is there, Birmingham is there, and Liverpool is at the sea. And when we're having 4 was Leeds. Leeds there and 5 Sheffield. Leeds and Sheffield. Leeds and Sheffield. Let's learn them next to each other. They're not next to each other. Leeds and Sheffield. No, we haven't just 5 minutes left. We're not going to do anything more. I don't know. We're going to do now the short impingement training completely through in one. We will have much time left after that. So if you like, you can go to the next part when you're going through more cities. We're having an extended wider part, but not too much, just a bit more short of wider part. We're breathing in and we're doing forward shoulder circuits. We're going back, up, in front, and down with the shoulders. And the last time we go back and front and down. And now we have the structure go front and down. And again front. And it was last time. And now we're doing again shorter circles, similar, just that we're having long arms and the hand formed to fists. And we're going now as far as we can go in back with the shoulders. And now we're trying to come further back. We're having long arms. And now we're trying to come further back with the shoulders. We're lifting the shoulders high up. We'll try to lift the shoulders high up while you move them in front. Or try to bring the shoulders further in front while you bring them down the shoulders. Try to bring the shoulders further down while you bring them back. Try to bring the shoulders further back while you lift the shoulders up. Try to lift the shoulders high up while you bring them in front. Try to bring the shoulders further in front while you bring them down, and the other way around. Try to bring the shoulders further in front while you lift the shoulders up. Try to bring the shoulders high up while you bring them back. Try to bring the shoulders further back while you bring them down. Try to bring the shoulders further down while you bring them in front. And the last one, try to bring them further in front while you bring the shoulders up. Higher up, backwards, and try to bring them further back while you bring them down. Now the next exercise, it is what we're having with legs standing quite apart. We're going a bit into the knees, ranging forward with a straight leg, letting the arms in, and now pinching our scapulas together. And we're using our muscles to pinch them together. So put effort in that. Now make fists and lift the arms high up. And pinch the scapulas. Release the arms and the scapulas. And another round. Pinch the scapulas together. Lift. Lift. Now make fists and lift the arms high up. Pinch the scapulas, stay together. Right, the arms down. And the scapulas. And step that up, come to the knees, bending forward, having your round leg this time, and returning the arms to the inside. We bring the arms high up and together, straightening slowly up, while we're trying to bring the shoulders higher up, bringing the shoulders, the arms higher, the shoulders down and together. So now the shoulders high up and together, the arms high up and together, the shoulders down and together. The arms high up and together, shoulders down and together. There's it. Out. Shoulders. And one last time into the knees, inch forward, round back, the arms hang, turn the arms to the hands to the inside of the arms, and the arms high up and together, straighten the side up, and bring the shoulders up, together. Arms high up and together, shoulders down. The arms high up and together, shoulders together. And we're done with this exercise. And last two exercises. We're lifting the arms up and we're just concentrating on the scapulas. How are the scapulas opening up to make way for the arms to come up? And again, just observe what the scapulas are doing. Are the scapulas opening up to make room for the humerus of the upper arm? And the last time. And again down. And the similar exercise, the arms are outside, and bring them in front, and just concentrate what are the scapulas doing. And concentrate on the scapulas. And now observe, are the scapulas going around the rib cage, always from the wing of the humerus? Are the scapulas going around the rib cage, back together? And the scapulas again following to the outsides of the rib cage, around the rib cage. And the scapulas are going back together. And the last time front, the scapulas are following around the rib cage and back together. We're just stretching one arm in front. We're putting the arm in, the shoulder stays back, shoulder is down. We're putting the arm in, we're trying to relax it. Now the other arm in front. Shoulder stays back, shoulder down, pull the arm in, and try to relax the arm. And we're done with the exercise. I thank you very much, and until next time.